Hello, my name's Charles Blevins. I'm psychic, and this evening for the next roughly 15 minutes, I will be talking about awakening. What does it mean to awaken as a spiritual being? And one topic that I will talk about in this process is enlightenment. If there's anything you want to know as I'm going through talking, please just type in a message and I will respond to it on the subject of anything dealing with spirituality. If I don't know it, I will go ahead and do my homework and get that answer back to you on my next video that I do or live chat that I'm doing. So, feel free to join in, ask questions, and I will try to answer them the best that I can in a timely manner for you, and hopefully it will help. The primary reason why I do this is to make your awakening journey easier for you. I had such a hard time going through my spiritual journey and made it very difficult. And it took a lot of work to come to terms, to understand what the spiritual journey is, how it works, what takes place in the process. So these little tidbits that I'm sharing is to hopefully help one other person that's going through a spiritual journey and ease their pain, make them realize that they're not alone, that others go through this process, and it's a worthwhile process to go through a spiritual journey. So, enlightenment. The purpose behind enlightenment, or when we describe enlightenment on a spiritual term, is that we're talking about someone's soul who has cleaned their soul. So, when we start on the spiritual journey, normally we're not awakened yet. And what we're doing on a spiritual journey is cleaning the soul, removing the karma that's attached to the soul that's blocking the light from the other side coming through and not allowing the other side to connect to the soul very clearly. And as we go through an enlightenment stage along the path of awakening the soul, that is peeling away the karma off of the soul, which allows for more light to come to the soul from the other side, giving a soul or a human being with a cleaner soul to have a better connection with everything that is around them and with the other side. In that process, we start to call it enlightenment because of that individual now sees more of what's going on around them much more easier than someone with a dirty soul from karma that is blocking the light from the other side. So this is where it's very important when I talk about, like in the previous video, about letting go and removing negative energy from your life, as far as not holding on to any negative things that you have done to others or people who have done to you. Because these karmic events cover the soul and it sticks to the soul. And when we remove these karmic issues away from the soul, it allows us to awaken and to begin the enlightenment process. Now, enlightenment doesn't mean that you have knowledge about everything of life. It doesn't make you a doctor. It doesn't make you an attorney. It doesn't make you the best mechanic, understanding everything about science. What it does is brings you to a realization on humanity and how the spiritual side works, and gives you better insight on how to heal other souls. So for me, like when I do readings for people, I'm not as much worried about how to make someone happy through what job they're doing, or by having immediate gains in their life. What I'm more worried about is cleaning the soul. So if I can clean a little bit of the soul, get some of the karma off of the soul, so some light can come into the soul, what that allows is for someone then to start working on their internal self without the need of seeing a psychic or another spiritualist, because there's some light now that can come in. This allows the individual to work at their own pace and cleanse away the karma and start creating a broader light for the soul, so that it can see clearly. That's the primary purpose behind why I do psychic readings. It requires me to go very deep into a reading. It's not, there's different levels of readings, and I try to go into a deeper level of reading because of the soul on its awakening journey is so important, because at the end of the day, every soul needs to obtain enlightenment. The importance behind enlightenment or the awakening process is, before we can move past a life or many lives, we have to have a cleaner soul. And the soul has to be cleaned. In order for the soul to be cleaned, we have to get rid of these karmic events that we create in each life. So this life, for me, I have the issues that have taken place in this life that I have to clean. I'm also cleaning from previous lives, and I know of at least 2 other lives that I am cleaning up karmic issues from that are related to this life and that are directly impacting my spiritual journey. And I'm hoping by the end of this life that I will have cleaned off enough karmic issues from my soul that in the next life I will hopefully hit enlightenment. That's hopefully my goal. I do not know. Maybe I'll hit enlightenment quicker in this life. Maybe I will not. Maybe in the next life I will still have karmic issues to deal with. That's all in the future. The other side knows at what pace I'm going through my life lessons, and how quickly I will be able to remove off enough karmic issues that I can start to achieve enlightenment. The purpose behind every soul is to achieve enlightenment. Souls are just at different levels. Some are nowhere near the awakening process. Some souls are at the beginning stages of the awakening process. Some souls are way into the awakening process. It just depends on where you're at on your journey and what lessons you are learning in this life and what you have to deal with. Remember, every experience teaches us something about enlightenment. It teaches us something about our soul and allows us to awaken. At the same token, with every experience, there's also karmic issues that reside there. And the biggest thing is to keep that karmic issues down to a minimum and the enlightenment experience from each experience that you have to the maximum. What this allows is for you to get that maximum benefit with very minor negative issues that come along with every experience in your life. I tell people to have experiences, whether you're on a spiritual journey or not, because at some point in time, whether it's in this life or in the next life or 2 lives from now, when you come back or during this life, when you decide to begin your spiritual journey, the journey of awakening, these experiences will help you start to understand the other side and what you have to do in order to start becoming enlightened. The biggest thing I tell people that I find is people are very afraid when when they start hearing or seeing things or starting to have some type of spiritual experience. One, because of everything we're taught as children or adults in our social society in America, is that these things are kind of hocus pocus in a way. And once you realize that it's not hocus pocus and you start to see how it affects your life, it becomes kind of scary because most of us do not have mentors or teachers to teach us how to take a spiritual journey, how to awaken the soul. Other countries or other social cultures have a better process on awakening the soul, what is a spiritual journey, how a spiritual journey works. We're just beginning to grasp some of these concepts. We're starting to just begin in our society implementing some of these different cultural awakening process, spiritual journeys into the American culture. I will tell you that there is nothing wrong to talk about a spiritual journey. You should not be afraid to communicate with your partners, with your friends and family, that you are undergoing a spiritual journey. Some may laugh at you, but at the end of the day, unless you communicate it and you're upfront about it with the people around you, it will be very hard to have some type of support. I tell everyone, when you start on your awakening process, it is good to have support, communicate with other people, no matter how hard or how difficult it appears to communicate with them, because at times you are going to have emotional breakdowns, mental breakdowns, and when these occurrences take place, you will need the support of family or friends to help you get through it. They come and go as you grow spiritually and as you go deeper into yourself. And that requires a heavier influence from other people who will provide support. Does anyone have any questions right now that they would like to understand more about, instead of just one perspective coming from my view on one topic? I would much rather give you a broader perspective of anything if you deem the need to understand more. So I'll continue on for a few more minutes, and then in the next week, roughly at 6 o'clock, I will go ahead and start back up again, for another 15 minutes. And I'm going to try to keep these within 15 minutes a week. So this way, anyone who stumbles across this, they can get a little bit of information on spirituality, the awakening process, what takes place, how I've dealt with things, what might help them, books and different things that I have read and gone through to go through the awakening process, hopefully to obtain enlightenment, whether it's at the end of this life or in another life. The goal is we need to become enlightened. It allows us to move closer to God, and it removes us from having karmic experiences and holding on to karmic experiences. The biggest thing is like I will tell anyone, please make sure your karmic experiences you do not attach to, you do not hold on to, and ask forgiveness from other people and forgive other people. So this way there's no attachment to those karmic experiences, allowing you to have a better awakening experience and to bring yourself closer to enlightenment. When you come to see a psychic, I tell people, do not worry about your finances. Do not worry about your what current job or the next lover you're going to have in your life, or what, are you going to get a new car or a house? Those things are not that important. Those things just aren't important. It's more important to turn around and listen to a psychic, take you into a process, that deals with deeper issues that are affecting you karmically from allowing the soul to start healing itself and allowing you to awaken and begin a process to head towards enlightenment. My goal is to help not only myself go towards enlightenment, but to help others achieve their enlightenment in their due time. I thank you for listening to me. I wish you a wonderful evening, and I give you all my love, and I hope that on your spiritual journey, these little tidbits of information will help you on your journey. Take care.